It is Monday, November 20th, 2017. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, and this is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, joined as always by Raj Giri and Mr. Matt Morgan. How's it going, Matt?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well, man. So post-Survivor Series Raw, we got some surprises tonight. Some stuff we've seen before, some stuff we haven't seen before. Did it hold your attention, Matt, through the entire show?
No.
Before Paige showed up, I was drifting. I was drifting hard. Just to
that was the only good part. Was Paige's part, but then the two girls she brought out, I couldn't have cared any less for.
Oh yeah, Sonya and Mandy.
Yeah.
And tonight in the main event portion, Roman Reigns versus The Miz. I got to hand it to Vince McMahon. His plan is happening, and tonight I did not hear any booing for Roman. All cheers. The crowd was on board with this.
It was very slight boos for Roman, but definitely way better reactions than he's been getting.
Yeah, so all the pieces move into place for Roman versus Brock at WrestleMania.
I guess, but he's got to lose the Intercontinental title by then, right?
Does he? Why not give him all the titles? Put him in a tag team while you're at it. Find a way to get the U.S. belt on him at the same time.
No, I mean, they did get the title off him last time with the U.S. title with Jericho. And without really getting it off of him, so I'm sure they'll do something screwy, but yeah.
So where are they going with all this? I mean, let's just talk big picture about this. Royal Rumble is coming up in January. There's a Raw pay-per-view after that. Raj, how do you think they're going to approach storytelling, given that they don't really have a near-term milestone? I mean, the Royal Rumble is what, two full months away?
Yeah, that's we were talking about that before it started, is that we got this long break between a pay-per-view for the Raw side. I mean, we got Clash of Champions for SmackDown coming up, but for Raw, the next pay-per-view is the Royal Rumble, which is a week before the Super Bowl. And we're not even close to the playoffs yet. So we're kind of in this dead period right now where you're not really building to much. It's just kind of, you're just kind of there for a while. And so that's the one downside with not having the two pay-per-views a month.
Yeah,
is you have and TNA learned this the hard way when they made that decision to go from 12 pay-per-views to 4, and then you have these long periods where when you're not building to a pay-per-view, it's just kind of like you're killing time a lot of times. And so I think we're probably going to be seeing a lot of that for the next month, where it's just kind of continuing these house show feuds, but not building to these big pay-per-view matches.
And it's not 2 months away. It's 9 weeks away. I mean, the Rumble is January 28th, 2018.
Yes, the week before the Super Bowl. I mean, that's a ways out. We're talking about getting close to, the middle of winter there.
So what excited you tonight, Matt? Let's just kind of go around and talk about the high points of the show. What did you think was good tonight?
Paige coming out, and that pretty much was it for me.
Wow. I mean, I was surprised. Raj, had you heard anything?
She was backstage. We knew that she was there last week, so it was imminent. Someone asked me in the chat last night the percentage I gave for Paige showing up tonight. I said 60, and there she was. So I mean, huge pop. I guess we'll talk about this later, but there's just like no rhyme or reason for these NXT call-ups, right? I mean, Asuka's there for like 2 years, and then they bring out, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, who they've never been on TakeOver even, right? I mean,
I tweeted it. It took me 30 seconds to figure it out. I guarantee you this is what it is. The Vince popped for this. Paige, Mandy, Sonya, Team PMS. I guarantee you that is why Vince went for this.
Well, Mandy is one of those that I'm like, once Vince sees her, once she's remotely decent in the ring, he's calling her up. And it's the same thing with Drew. When I was like, when Vince sees Drew, he's coming up to the main roster, like how Drew looks now. And so there you go. They're on the main roster. Never worked in a takeover. Peyton Royce and Billy Kay and all these Ember Moon and so.
No, I mean it's really next week PMS. They're gonna do it.
If it was, I think they had a PMS before, didn't they? Vince Russo had a group called PMS.
Yeah, Jackie, Ivory, and I want to say Terry.
Marlena.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Terry Runnels.
Yeah, Terry Runnels, yeah.
Because it makes it, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. I think we're going to see women's tag titles because they've got 12 women on the Raw roster now.
But they still give them no. I don't see any way they're going to have tag titles when the women they have now don't get their individual feuds. They're so clumped together. That,
and I think a women's rumble. I think a women's rumble is going to happen. They're at the point where they add 2 people from NXT. They bring in a legend. They get someone back for the night. They got 20 women easily.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that for sure. My guess is if they're going to do it, they'd probably do like 15. Or like you said, 15 to 20. I think 20 goes a little long, but doing 15 and maybe a pre-show match, or I mean, I guess you could do it on the main card, but two rumbles on the main card seems like overkill.
2 Survivor Series 5-on-5 matches, or last year 2 5-on-5 matches, and then the 5-on-5 tag matches last year. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but the 5-on-5 matches, you could do those quick. Like the women's 5-on-5 match wasn't that long.
That's true.
But
so tonight opened. I thought it was weird that they opened with the theme song. They opened with the credits. They didn't do the dramatic recap at the top of the show. Instead, we get the welcome, and out comes Stephanie McMahon. Gives credit to the guy that won. That she basically said Kurt Angle was the Triple H. Yeah, was the captain of the team and led the team to victory last night. Kurt Angle comes out, confronts Triple H. Jason Jordan comes out, confronts Triple H. Braun Strowman comes out and confronts Triple H. And then, strangely, they end up making a match of Braun Strowman versus Jason Jordan. I don't know how that was the outcome.
They don't want Triple H to wrestle on Raw. And I will say this. I thought this was the best Kurt Angle promo he's had on Raw in a long time. I mean, that's the Kurt Angle fans want to see, is like not taking crap, not being talked down to, not being dressed down, and being like, you can take this job, but you're not going to, screw me over. And I think that's the Kurt Angle we want to see. And it reminded, fans who, so many of these fans probably aren't that familiar with Kurt Angle, because he was in WWE, 12 years ago was his last run? Longer than that?
God, yeah.
So, getting a chance to see that kind of like that badass Kurt Angle was great. But yeah, I mean, they kind of set up a lot of little things for Triple H. And I don't know, I think with each passing year, the Triple H WrestleMania match is less and less important. I felt like his match with Rollins, they tried, but it wasn't anywhere close to the most anticipated match on the show. And since Taker, that's kind of how it's been. Or Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. So
Matt?
You get everything. There's nothing really to say. You guys talk all the oxygen out of the goddamn room. And I'll digress.
Well, let's go to Matt first then for the match that followed this. Matt, what's your take on Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor tonight?
Great. All for Joe looking dominant. Surprised that they beat Finn like that. I'm happy they did, though. I'm always rooting for Joe. But they gotta get him back on track. He's a killer and he needs to be booked as such. I thought it was kind of a throwaway to a degree to have Finn get beat on TV, but I guess I was surprised by that. And as a fan, you kind of should be grateful that they put a pay-per-view worthy match with a pay-per-view finish on TV, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But as what's best for the company, I'm just surprised they did that.
Yeah, I think they've clearly got Finn pegged at a certain level now. You're seeing it. I'm sure all the plans that they had for Brock and Finn at the Royal Rumble that was talked about at one point, I'm sure that's clearly out the window. Because, Finn, he had offense tonight, but it wasn't like he was dominating the match and then lost. It was a showcase for Joe. And so coming off of this, getting not squashed by Kane, but beaten pretty handily and then just chokeslammed like he was nothing the week after. Mm-hmm. They've got him at this level where he would be way more beneficial to SmackDown.
Next stop, 205 Live.
No way.
Nope.
If I were Finn, I'd quit if they came up with that idea.
Yeah.
Well, if that UK show finally launches next year.
No, Finn is too big of a star to waste on something.
But why? So why are they booking him like this? Why is he losing to Kane? Why? That's the thing. It's like, don't just put him in between. At least give him some sort of showcase.
Yeah, I agree, but I think they have him at that spot where kind of like seriously where they had Daniel Bryan before CM Punk left. This talented guy that's over, but he's not going to beat the top guys. And then
here's how you stop it. If your fans give a shit about Finn, he's your guy. You guys got to be louder. When you're at these arenas, it's not just about popping for these guys during their entrance. It's during the match, during the heat, when they need to start mounting their comeback. You guys have got to be louder. And every Finn match, they're not loud during his comeback. I don't know why, but they're not.
Did you think that's why that WWE is bringing him down the ladder?
That's the only thing I can think of, because he's not. They die on him. The fans die on him during his match, and that's up to the performer. Don't get me wrong, to make the fans emotionally invested enough to care the entire segment, the entire match. And they love his entrance. They're with him, and then like at the beginning of the match, they're still kind of with him during his shine, and then it dies. Go back and watch any of his matches. It's a decrescendo in the fan participation department.
Well, I will say this. I mean, as much as fans crap on Roman for his promos, Finn's promos have done nothing for me since he's been on the main roster. And I think a lot of that is the scripting of it. But, you know, with Bray, he's talking about how monsters are real. And then he's giving a history lesson before about, you know, the demon. And his promos, I mean, I could see how he's not connecting with fans that aren't familiar with him. And that if you don't only care about the in-ring, I could see how you're not into that character. Yeah, the face paint and the look is cool when he does it. But other than that, it's not like outside of his in-ring that he's done much to get people on his side.
Last night, though, he got his feet in someone's chest at least 3 times during that 5-on-5 match, including that amazing running kick to Shane.
He's amazing in the ring.
He wasn't in there that long, though. Think about it. When he was in there, he was getting his shit in, right? So it was a comeback. The fan, it's hard to explain. He didn't have to. The fans didn't have to go through the whole journey of a full singles match with him, and that's where they're dying on him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Well, Joe got him with the coquina clutch tonight.
Clean, right? There was nothing. There's nothing disputed. He just, yeah. It was a showcase for Joe, which is great. It looks like, you know, they're doing something with Joe. I don't know if it's Cena for now or what. I mean, Cena's out for another month now, so he came back to the Survivor Series as a base and was an afterthought in that match.
No explanation.
Yeah, and just kind of, all right, see ya. It's weird when it's company's biggest star treated like that.
Yeah. I was surprised who we didn't see back tonight, that they didn't re-inject some guys in the mix. No Bray. Gallows and Anderson were up next plugging the WWE Shop's Black Friday sales. Were they a main event this week or something? Or
let's see, what was on main event? I know Apollo Crews was on main event. Usually it's been like you know, underneath guy and a cruiserweight match on main event, but hold on, let's take a look. Yep, Grand Metalik and Brian Kendrick on main event, and then Apollo Crews and Kurt Hawkins.
Wow. Never changed main event. So, okay, after that, they had Jason Jordan backstage. That was a weird character thing, having him pull the, I'm hurt, I'm scared. Yeah. Like,
wait, what was that? Sorry, there are a lot of questions about where Bray Wyatt was tonight.
Yeah, all this Jason Jordan backstage stuff was just kind of, I don't know where they're going with the character.
I think it's just the heel turn. I mean, he was clearly being more heelish.
He is.
And I think it's kind of working. It seems like they got a direction for him now where they didn't have that before. And, you know, with the Braun Strowman stuff where he's kind of faking that knee injury, I liked it. I like that they're finally doing something, because fans were rejecting him as a babyface, and I'm glad it's not a Roman Reigns kind of thing where they're sticking to it regardless, that they're going where they should be going with it.
Yeah. So tonight, Asuka versus Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke's on TV. Matt, what's better, no TV or this sort of match?
Honestly, this sort of match for her. She's not a star. She's not a top name. This is what you use her for, you know?
And there was no mention that she was Asuka's first match on NXT, which I thought was interesting.
Why would there be? She's not a star. She's not important enough for them to mention these things about.
Plus they barely mention NXT unless it's something big.
Well, they talked about the streak. I mean, I thought it would have given a little momentum, some story. But, I mean, it was funny, Dana cutting her promo. Like, your undefeated streak ends tonight. I mean, it just...
I don't see how people can become a fan of WWE today with these promos. These promos just on this show, outside of the Miz, they just sucked. You know, Cedric Alexander later and Rich Swann saying, "Why don't you make me?" Which is stuff you say in the third grade. It's just like, I don't see how a grown up or a teenager can watch it and be like, "Wow, this is cool."
Yeah, they gave Dana more. I don't want to say they gave her offense. They gave her more time in the match than I thought. It wasn't just over in 30 seconds, but it wasn't long.
Yeah, so it's kind of the Braun Strowman thing that they were doing, where they give her, you know, no name jobbers for a while and then start moving up. But
yeah. Oh, Dana, man. So Asuka won that with a kick. Matt, what do you think they do with Asuka from here? What's the pathway now that the women's division is getting more crowded?
Guys, so sometimes they do what they do that without necessarily having something down the pike right away, like Joe for winning. That doesn't mean that he's being set up for somebody right now.
Yeah.
You don't know with them, especially with them. You would like to think they book 6 months in advance, but they do not. I think they just, if you're asking me what I would do, just keep doing more of the same you're doing with Asuka. You hear the reaction she's getting when she's coming out, and that's what we want to see. We want to see her kicking ass. I do not want to see her sell. It's the mistake they made with Nakamura. I don't want to see her sell yet.
Yeah.
Or be put in harm's way, or jeopardize a loss, I should say.
She's already sold too much just with her first two matches.
Yeah, the first two, yeah. She did.
Yeah.
Miz TV tonight set up the main event. We had the Miz having Roman Reigns on. The Shield showed up, and Roman said, "Hey, you know what? I'd like a championship. I'm going to challenge you, the Miz." Setting that up for later in the evening. But before that, we got Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus. I mean, how many times have they done this, or some variation of this with these guys? Matt, do you think it was the right move to go immediately back into this?
I don't know how much longer they've got together, but they're all plausible workers. You know what I mean? It's just the same formula. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just crisscrossing everybody every once in a while, and I don't see why Roman needs to have the Intercontinental title. I don't know.
Yeah, unless they feel like they need a title headlining these Raw shows, and Brock's not there for the live events over Christmas, so it's a title match that can main event. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It seems like a weird move for him, especially if the plan is still for him to move on to the world title at Mania.
I felt the same way when he won the U.S. title too. You know, I didn't get why he needs to have it. You know, there's so many other people that I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Is the best guy win the title, or do you look at it as the title makes the guy? I kind of, unfortunately, have subscribed to sometimes the title. You need to have the title on somebody that it can help make. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was the problem with Roman winning the U.S. title, is they didn't have anyone really beat him for that. Jericho lucked into getting winning that title. It didn't make anyone. Whereas with this, you know, if they have him feud with Joe and Joe beats Roman for that, you know,
yeah,
then
that's different.
Then you got something, and then it helps take Joe up a level, get the title off of Roman, and you can still go with Roman, to the world title match at WrestleMania, and then you got a built-in challenger with Joe, because Joe had beaten him for the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
So let's backtrack that then. So is Roman going to win the Rumble?
I don't think so.
But
I think they could have those. Remember last year was Randy Orton winning the
Oh, yeah, that's right,
Rumble.
for SmackDown. So
they'll never make that mistake again. No, he will not win the Rumble.
Yeah.
Roman?
The Rumble's always going to be. Where's the Rumble this year?
Pittsburgh? Philadelphia?
Philly, yeah.
It's always in a smart mark city. They cannot make that mistake again.
Yeah, Philly is what killed Roman to begin with.
Yeah.
Because Roman was getting over. He was getting huge cheers. And
We
that Philly
him.
Royal Rumble was what killed him.
We picked him. We picked him as our favorite of the three. All of us fans did. And then turned on him because it was Daniel Bryan. Yeah,
well, they punked Daniel Bryan out in that Rumble. And I remember watching that, just being blown, just flabbergasted that $1 billion company, and this is how they're booking this match. Like they couldn't figure out that the crowd was going to crap on Daniel Bryan being thrown out so early.
Well, we got 5 weeks till the Christmas Raw, and my prediction is that the Shield will all have belts, and they'll be defending them that night, probably against the Miz and the Bar.
the Christmas Raw is always a throwaway show. They don't put any. They have Santa Claus and Alberto Del Rio
Glenn
hitting
looks
Santa
forward
Claus
to
with
it.
the car. And
Glenn and his family look forward to it.
Christmas Raw.
they're not. If they put
It's
a
a
title
tradition
match,
at
it's the
Glenn's
week
house.
after the
I can't
Christmas
remember the
Raw.
last Christmas Raw that I actually watched.
Don't lie, Glenn. You're sitting there with all your your ugly WWE sweaters and your figures in your hands. Your female wrestling fan. What are they called? The dolls.
The wrestling buddies.
The female version, the girl versions.
I might have a few WWE ornaments, and maybe there's a WWE stocking in the household.
Oh, brutal. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
No, but not, Christmas Raw and Salute to the Troops. I have to admit, those are usually the ones that I'll skip.
Because they're throwaway shows. They don't do anything on them.
Yeah, they don't.
And Christmas, there's other stuff going on. I mean, it's so, but okay, so they can't do it the week before because Clash of the Champions is week before. So when are they going to, I mean, Raw's going to have a big night where it's going to be the Shield all with belts defending against the Miz.
Yeah, January 8th. It's
okay.
Because you don't want to do it New Year's, Actually, you can do it New Year's. I'm sorry. As long as it's not New Year's Eve, you're fine. New Year's is not a big deal. So I can see January 1st.
New Year's Day, they do it like a big Raw. They have that defense there, and then after we move towards the Rumble.
Guys, it can happen next week. They can win the tag titles next week.
Yeah, the tag titles.
They'll win the titles before then. I'm saying they're going to defend them at whatever their big. It's kind of like how SmackDown, when they were in Vegas, they do these occasional, like, we're treating it like a big show when we don't have a pay-per-view coming.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to throw in a couple big episodes when you've got a 3-month period between your next pay-per-view.
Yeah. But that's why it was starting to feel like a rerun tonight for a while. And then when we went to the women's segment with Alexa Bliss out there, they do the thing where everyone's music hits and they walk out there.
Yeah.
Before Paige showed up, I'd given up at this point on Raw, just because it felt like they went immediately back to what they were doing. So during the Fatal 4-Way to crown a new #1 contender, Alicia Fox, Mickie James, Bayley versus Sasha Banks. Match did not finish because Paige showed up with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, which is definitely surprising. They beat down the women in the ring. Backstage, Alexa Bliss got beat down. Okay, so Matt, where do you think the women's division goes from here for the championship?
I have no idea because I don't know what they're going to do with those 3 girls. At first, it was just Paige. It's obvious it'd be Paige, right?
Yeah.
But now, I maybe it's still Paige. I don't know because the other 2 girls are just, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to get I mean, I could see the one being their new Trish as far as like the look that Vince loves. My wife said the same thing. Oh, they finally found their Trish, and I know that's what they're thinking, but I'm sorry, they're just not over. Tonight they were over because of Paige. I just don't know. I'm not interested in it, I guess is all I'm saying. Paige by herself, very interested by it. Super over. Got a superstar pop, right? I just... If it's Paige one-on-one, that's great stuff. And, maybe they can set it up like AJ in the club where the other 2 keep getting involved, help her win, things like that. But people don't want to boo Paige. I don't know. I don't know why she's got to come and be the heel, but I know they're pretty, they're short on heels, right? On Raw? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess it makes sense. Wrestling-wise, it's exciting as far as in-ring work goes. I just don't care about the other 2. I just don't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there hasn't been a reason to care yet.
I watched
NXT, and
another girl was greener than goose shit. The MMA girl.
Yeah,
not horrible, but very, very, very green, and at times unsafe. From what I've seen with her on NXT, wrestling with the iconic, whatever they're called, the 2 that have been there forever from Australia. I've watched her work with them, and they're very good. And she's very green.
Yeah,
they got a lot to learn.
Yeah, I wonder if, the smart thing would be when they're on TV, just keep them in Paige's corner, not doing much.
Yeah.
Just attack at the end and then have them work live events and get experience that way. But like I said, these NXT call-ups, no rhyme or reason. There's a lot of women that are ready. But, again, you could look at certain talents and they're going to get called up way sooner than later. Lars Sullivan. I guarantee you he'll probably be on the main roster by the end of this year, whereas Velveteen Dream probably won't be, and or at least Johnny Gargano probably might not be. So
yeah,
you just get that. You just kind of know.
Mandy jumping Patrick in the line to be the third biggest Tough Enough success story ever behind Matt Morgan, The Miz, and now Mandy Rose.
Yeah, Ryback.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you never mentioned Ryback.
Isn't it weird how no one mentions Ryback?
Ryback, like, man, he headlined pay-per-views and stuff.
Yeah, he did
it's
great.
weird though that since Ryback's been gone, you hear about his podcast, but you don't see everyone going, you know what would fix everything in the WWE if Ryback came back.
Well, they didn't really. Yeah,
it's a different fan today. The fans, if smart marks want in-ring 5-star match type of quality stuff, and he's good. You know, I just don't think that. I don't know. I'd like to watch him. I think he's a superstar in every sense of the word as far as the way he looks and a lot of the time the way he works. I thought he did fantastic a lot of the time.
I think people forget just how over he was for a while.
I know.
Before Cena got injured and they just threw him into that main event feud with CM Punk and they had to have him take all these losses. He was, I mean, he was getting that Goldberg. Not quite as crazy as Goldberg, but it was that type of reaction, the closest thing we've seen in WWE.
Yeah.
That. So, I mean, he was on his way, and it was funny. Him getting put into the main event scene hurt him drastically.
And the merch, all that merch, coming out wearing every piece of merch he could.
Yeah, but
yeah, man. So we'll see where that goes. Braun Strowman versus Jason Jordan started tonight with Jordan dodging.
Real quick. We didn't cover that Matt Hardy promo that he did backstage with Jason Jordan.
What'd you make of that?
Oh my gosh, that Matt Hardy, they have just sucked all the charisma out of this guy. I mean, he is just another guy now, you know, like he is. Oh, it was so sad to see that promo. It was like he was reading from a cue card and he just got his lines right before they shot it, you know. It's unfortunate, man. I still think there's money in that guy and what they're doing with him. He's just sucking that money out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It is what it is. So Jordan versus Braun Strowman didn't really happen. Jordan ran away for a bit. Not much happened. And then Kane came out, which I thought was interesting. Continuing the Kane-Braun feud.
Kind of protected Jason Jordan a little bit here because they could have easily had him just destroy and pin him and then Kane come out.
I still don't like it. I love Glenn to death. I just don't like him working on top. Not at the moment. I can't believe I'm saying that. You know what I mean? I'm literally his biggest fan, I think. I do believe that. And I'm just, I don't know. I don't like it. Not for Braun, not for any of these guys. If someone gets hurt, I could see it happening, you know, him filling in and helping because he's so damn good. But Braun still, like the way he's been being booked as this monster and unstoppable and getting in people's faces as a baby face, it's been great. And I know what they're thinking. Like, we've got to create him in, you know, peril. He's got to be in peril at times where it's believable. So it makes sense for Glenn to be, or Kane to be the one to put him in peril every once in a while. But right now is not the time. They need to keep the foot on the gas with him and him just, like you said, getting in people's mugs. The fans love it.
So has Glenn Jacobs texted you or called you for any campaign advice, Matt? In lieu of your
no,
victory?
but it's so funny how fans like don't even know that he has not even like been elected. Like they're like, oh,
he's got like a year.
Matt Morgan's doing what King did. What? Glenn's not one. He's still running. You guys are supposed to know these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a huge deal what he's doing. He's running for freaking mayor of Knox, right?
Yeah.
Of Knox County. That's a big deal, man. And he's super intelligent, man. He's one of the smartest guys I've ever been around in this business.
Are you the first wrestler to be elected to public office since Jesse?
No, B. Brian Blair was a commissioner in Tampa.
Was he? I thought he lost that.
Oh, well, he was quoted in a news article that I was in down here. I could have sworn that they said he was a commissioner.
Okay,
Hillsborough or something.
Yeah,
like that?
I thought he lost that election, but you could be right because I know
he ran for a different office after that. He could have, and then lost that.
Yeah, maybe.
But he did reach out to me. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's pretty huge. I mean, you've had like Hall of Famers run. Bob Backlund ran. Who ran just recently?
Rhino,
yes. And while he's on WWE TV. So
won the primary, lost the election.
Right. Anyway.
So Braun versus Kane.
I agree with Matt. I felt like the crowd, you could tell, like when Kane was beating up, when, destroyed Braun, they just didn't seem like they were into it. It's kind of like Goldberg. When he was Superman, the fans were into it and he was on fire. But when he had to sell and when he started to lose, it just cooled off quick. And I think you go with what's working. If the fans are into Braun destroying stuff and being dominant, and just keep it going until you can't, until the fans get tired of that.
So
I could see fans cooling on Braun if they keep doing this, and because I thought his selling to that chair neck shot was a lot of overacting. I don't know what you guys thought.
Oh man, I think they're going to do this for a while and just keep Braun busy.
I hope not.
Yeah. Braun, man, I mean, it's too soon to go back to Braun and Roman, but I'm looking forward to when they resume that, because it's been incredible so far. Okay, so Braun refused medical attention and apparently chose to just leave the building after that. But then the Zo Train, Enzo Amore with Noam Dar, Tony Nese, Ari Daivari, and Drew Gulak turned into a match with them going against Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann, and Akira Tozawa. The latter team ended up winning, but just to check in with the cruiserweights, Matt, how do you think this is working out, making Enzo the face of the cruiserweight division and having a wrestling
I like
his shoulders?
that. I like when I watch 205 Live and Enzo comes on. That's about it. This is another example of where they just think it's like the girls' division, the women's division. When in doubt, they throw everybody out there, and it's just this throw up. They just puke all over your TV screen. Do you know what I mean? With too much, and nobody gets over. I mean, Enzo always stands out like a star, so he's always the one. But no one else is getting over. They're not getting a rub from him. I don't know. I didn't care for it.
I think Drew Gulak, his standing has risen as a result of this.
Yeah, I don't think people see him as a star, though. They're not like, oh, I got to tune into 205 Live to watch this guy.
Tonight felt awkward when they were on the show during the time they were on, I felt. I watch the show now. I try to let the show go about an hour in front, and so I can fast forward through all the commercials. And when it's the best way to do it, and then you could catch up and watch it live right around the main event, if it works out perfectly that way. And what I was going to say, when I was fast forwarding through the commercials, I was like, these guys are up now, like at this part of the hour.
keep fast forwarding.
You know what I mean? I was like, you can't because of the show here, but I was like, I just, it doesn't make sense, and you give them a chance, like they shouldn't be in the segment. It does not feel right.
But Matt, if you're fast forwarding through the commercials, how do you know what's going on at Sonic or Popeye's Chicken, or the fact that Domino's now, if you drop your pizza when you walk out of the store, they'll replace it for free?
What the hell is that?
That was a commercial.
How many? Yes, they have a commercial that they have carryout insurance, where you get the price of your pizza refunded if you drop it or something. Like, it's such a common problem that you have to have this $1 million campaign to have carryout insurance. Just order delivery if that's a problem for you, that you need insurance. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Guys, wrestling fans, I think we need to take a good, long, hard look in the mirror if this is the demographic we've become. That they say, you know what? This is a whole audience, man. They drop their pizzas all the time when they're walking out of Domino's. We need to do something about that.
People feigning slip and falls.
I cannot believe that is that big enough of a problem that they had to create a marketing campaign over it.
That's bad.
Good God. But yeah, I mean, the cruiserweights, it always feels like, all right, let's bring the kids out so everyone could go to the bathroom and then catch their breath, and then we'll go on to the main event stuff.
It is.
And Enzo, I said it earlier, that promo that Cedric, when Cedric was talking, I was like, man, this guy is so talented in the ring, but good God, his promos are just painful. And Rich Swann saying, if you want us to leave, make us, or something like that, which is stuff that you say in the third grade. God, man, these promos are just brutal. They need to, if you want to fix the product, obviously getting rid of an hour of Raw would help it immensely, but also give these guys some wiggle room on these promos and let them, like, when they're traveling in their cars, instead of playing video games. Have them like, you know, coming up with like cool stuff that they can say.
Get Freddie Prinze Jr. back in there to teach the acting class and tell these guys how to deliver.
They're so unnatural. The verbiage, you know, when we're talking about the Survivor Series stuff about the one time a year where we're head to head in competition or whatever that phrase was. So unnatural.
It's the realization from the ads, man. They think we're an audience of degenerate at-risk smokers who are losing their hair, who have a problem making it to their car with their pizza intact. I mean, this is who the WWE is writing this stuff for.
Yeah.
Oh man, sad state of affairs. Elias,
pizza dropping fans.
Pizza dropping fans. Hashtag pizza dropping fans.
That's it. You bunch of pizza droppers. That's what I would use in my promo.
who can't afford a real cell phone service? Who say I need Cricket Wireless? Like that. There tells you what they think of you. You know, like it's not good. It's not good, folks. We need to revolt. Elias out there tonight, interrupted by Matt Hardy, getting some screen time. So this feud's going. I thought Elias's segment was actually, Elias was pretty good tonight.
Did
I turned the page on Elias.
Yeah. His song, you know, he's putting more effort into his songs, and he's funnier now.
If he dressed up like Randy Savage for Halloween, he would look exactly like him. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, not a lot to say about that segment.
Matt Hardy, man. Matt, what'd you think? I mean, he looks genuinely broken.
He's busted down, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's limping. He has his elbow all taped up. Then after the attack, he's messing with his teeth. He looked like he was like 70 years old out there.
I think Vince needs to start thinking about this. He's got to. I mean, I think he really. It's kind of like we're talking. If the Undertaker comes back and does another match, Vince McMahon needs to think about the perception of wrestling and putting these guys on TV when it looks like they're, you know, they need to pay off an ex-wife, and so they keep doing this despite the risks to their health and their continued risks to their body. I think you need to present people more in their prime to just keep the image of wrestling.
The other downside, though, is I'm sorry, we're all much younger looking than the guys were at our age. Like I'm 41, and guys that were wrestling at 41 back when I was in the 80s were freaking busted looking, horrible looking. They look like, you know what I mean? They were one step away from death.
Yeah, Matt Hardy's 43, dude.
But what I was gonna say is today our younger guys look like kids.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I've always noticed that disconnect. Guys from my generation as well. Like we all look like, not me now, but like when we first started, just look like kids. Don't look like you can really kick someone's ass in a real fight. And the cruiserweights are a great example of that. They all look like you said. Hey, let's let the kids come out. It's recess time. Let's let the kid with the big mouth at recess do all the talking. He's kind of funny, you know. And that's really how it looks like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, we take better care of ourselves. We have better nutrition, all these different things. But in a weird way, like, I don't know what happened. Like, they're not grizzled. They don't look weathered. They look like they've been in a real fight. Unless you got to have a beer belly, you know. You don't got to look like freaking, what do you call Stan Hansen or something like that. But, you know, like right. A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, when they became superstars, they didn't look like kids. They still look like men, but, you know, even though Shawn was a pretty boy, he still looked like a man. He didn't look like Drew Gulak. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and I totally get your point.
Even Swan and his partner, you know, they just look little kids.
Yeah, they look like someone you could see at a bar and just walk up to and start talking to. You know what I mean? Like just nice, friendly guys that, you know, young, friendly guys, as opposed to guys that stand out and look like superstars. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I buy that. So main event tonight, Intercontinental title match, Roman Reigns versus The Miz.
Wait, we missed where Paige and where they jumped Alexa Bliss backstage.
Oh, I thought that happened right after the first thing that we talked about earlier.
Right. Did we mention it though?
Oh, yeah.
Alexa tried to buddy up to them and got beat down by all three.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'm assuming it'll be Paige versus Alexa soon.
That's a good feud. I like that.
Yeah.
But what Matt said, everyone wants, and you know, I guess Paige will be the babyface in that feud just by default because the fans are gonna be cheering her.
Yeah.
She was super over and she was relishing in it. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Paige looked great tonight. I mean, seriously.
She did.
She's such a natural out there. Like Alexa Bliss, she's very confident when she's out there, but she's very scripted. Like once it's time to go off script, you could tell she's uncomfortable. Whether it was on Talking Smack or like the pre-show thing she was doing with Charlotte at the Survivor Series, she's really good in that scripted environment, but not really on her feet. Whereas Paige can just go out there and she just has that star quality where she's confident. She doesn't seem like she's acting. She's her character out there.
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome.
Yeah. We'll see what happens next week. So The Miz versus Roman Reigns tonight. Roman, great support from the fans. The Miz, I mean, actually they seem to back both of these guys tonight pretty hard.
Yeah, there's that Miz is awesome chant earlier in the night.
Good.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. That was actually, we didn't talk about it during Miz TV. That was my favorite part when they went off script and they were talking about like the chant of Miz is awesome. That's the first time we've heard that. You should be thanking Houston. Like when they got loose with it, it was interesting to see those guys just sort of be themselves.
I think that Curtis Axel still has that neck brace. I wonder if they're doing like a Bob Orton gimmick with him.
I think they are, because did Corey allude to that?
Oh, did he?
He said something along the lines like he's gonna, like, something tells me he's gonna be in this neck brace for many years or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure they'll have him on WWE Shop in a week or two. The Curtis Axel neck brace.
Hey, that's a great gimmick. I would take it. Seriously, that's That's good stuff.
That's a piece of merch I wouldn't buy, Matt. Right there. That's a piece of merch I'm not going to buy. The Curtis
Axel.
No,
him being pretending he's hurt the entire time.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're going to put that in WWE Shop. That's how you know it's the gimmick.
You know what I'd pop for? If they did a segment where he's going to the doctor and he's in the waiting room and you see Bob Orton coming out with this cast. Like you have that same doctor. I mean, it's for us old school fans, but
yeah, that's funny.
Or you should just keep adding to it each week and have another part bandaged up or casted up, and they just keep getting beat down anyhow. Solid comedy. Yeah, I thought, man, they had it tonight. To me, the sign of one of these matches being really good is that it seemed like it could have gone either way. I had a feeling it was going to go Roman's way, but the Miz dodging out twice of that punch.
I didn't think the Miz was going to win, but I thought it could have been a DQ.
Yeah, they're definitely not losing the title. I didn't see it happening.
Yeah,
because Roman don't need it. He does not need it.
Yeah, but I feel like they need something. Like it's the post Survivor Series show, and really outside of Paige, nothing really happened on the show at all. It was just there.
Yeah, and the bar running out, and Dean and Seth running out. I mean, literally just more of the same, more of the same, more of the same.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job with it, at least, though.
Yeah.
I think. The matches are really good.
Yeah. It's not like when it was Gallows and Anderson against the Hardys.
Not even close. Yeah.
Yeah, or against when it was a bar against them every week.
Or New Day, right?
Yeah.
They were doing a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fresher. I think they're keeping the matches different. Performances
they definitely
really
are.
Good. But yeah, Roman Reigns got it with the spear, man. So he's the new Intercontinental Champion.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think overall? What do you think sort of the state of the WWE and Raw now, Matt?
Crappy. I didn't like it. I didn't like tonight's show. I didn't. Why beat around the bush? I didn't like it. It was a good C-.
Yeah, I mean, again, outside, I thought the Roman Miz match was good.
It was.
And Paige was good, but that was it. That's two things. And the Miz TV segment with them was good.
3 hours.
Yeah. So you had about 45 minutes that was good. And the opening segment, I like Kurt in that opening segment. That's it. I pretty much forget the rest. Elias was fine, but then Matt Hardy looked terrible. I'd say C- sounds about right.
Post Survivor Series should have been much bigger than this.
Yeah. Well, we're in that it's that dead period for a bit where no shows coming up. So
interesting note about the promo for tomorrow night's SmackDown. They teased some sort of retribution or action taken against Sami and Kevin, but then they said, and we'll find out what's next for AJ Styles. They did not mention AJ versus Jinder for tomorrow night. For the championship.
I missed that. I wonder if they changed their mind.
They got to do something because who's he gonna work?
Well, I mean, they could do AJ and Jinder at the pay-per-view at Clash
Yeah.
of Champions.
Yeah, they can announce it though. I'm saying now, or go towards that. Have AJ come out and say he's because of promo on what's next, and he gets jumped instead. We don't hear what was next by Jinder jumps him, or whatever. There's a million ways to go, but Jinder and him are definitely going to work, is my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, well, for sure. But
who else does he have?
I mean, for me, when they announced Jinder and AJ, I'm like, okay, so they're going to have Jinder beat AJ and go to India as champ, because that India show is 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's before Clash of Champions, so that would make sense why they did the title change before that. But yeah, and maybe they did change plans.
What's taking them so long to get out there? Like, we went out there like a bunch of times. I was with TNA. They did great business.
Yeah, I know one time a bunch of people got sick. This time they outpriced themselves bad. I mean, the tickets were like $40 to $550 when the middle class in India is $13,000 a year. So so one show got canceled. They were supposed to be there for 2 nights. They did this, they did it last year in January 2016. Sold out both nights. This time they had to cancel one of the shows. And yeah, I think they're just overpriced tickets. As part of it, another thing is last time when they went, it had been a long period before they went in 2016. But yeah. Anyway, I think I don't think they understand the Indian market really.
It's very difficult. What we learned when we did Ring of King with TNA, that thing should have been so successful. We had all these celebrities brought in. We did a little bit of, like, I don't want to say not comedy show, but we did a lot of different things on there that Indian fans really dug. Like a variety show. I swear to God, like we had like the #1 cricket player come in and get involved. It was like Derek Jeter there, by the way. Dude's super over.
Is it Sachin Tendulkar or something?
Harper Singh.
Oh, okay.
The dude was super over, and we did things like that. And the thing I remember asking Jeff, I was like, Jeff, how was this not successful? We had Endemol, who runs Big Brother, huge money backing this. How is this not successful? And he was like, we did not take into account that the female in India controls the remote control. And that they're the ones that control the remotes or something like that, along with people in their homes, their homes TVs or whatever you want to say. And they only watch it to a certain period of time at night or something along those lines. So they're not going to be putting on wrestling.
That's part of it. But from when I've been to India before, a big part, you're not going to make money selling tickets and merchandise just because of that money issue. The money is in sponsorships. If you want the network to work, you get it as its own station and sell ads during it. You're going to make money on ads, sponsorships. You're not going to make it on selling tickets and merch.
Right. And Endemol is a conglomerate. They're humongous. They're bigger than WWE. They're huge. Yeah. Huge. So that's why I didn't understand. Like, they definitely took care of that aspect as far as ads go. I know for a fact they did. But it was like in our places where we worked in Pune, like in the dumpy part of India, was packed. Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm not exaggerating. This thing was beyond sold out. Scott Steiner created a riot. It was crazy bedlam, and it was so exciting to be a part of. Like, they shook your cars when you drove away in your taxi cab. These fans came out if you were a heel, and they were shaking your cabs because they thought it was real. It was craziness. And I was like, how could this not be the most successful thing we've ever done? So I kept thinking, walking away from that project, going, this is going to be huge. We're going to be coming to India regularly for Ring of King. And I was cool with it. And to see what happened to it, I was just very, very disappointed and shocked. But one of the reasons was what was told to me, I should say, was they didn't take into account the demographic that is running. Supposedly, the woman has the big saying what they watch on TV or something to that effect. I'm probably messing that up, but something along those lines.
Yeah, because I know Khali. Do you remember Khali did that angle in India and where he got injured, and all the news stations were covering it like it was real, like the news was covering it like it was real.
Yeah.
And that match, when he did the revenge match, I mean, it was a total 80s, like 70s and 80s program that they did to perfection.
They think it's real. They treat it like it's real. Like it was a real sport.
Even the emails I get from fans in India, I can always tell because it's like, you need to fire Kurt Angle. He's making bad matches. And it's like, first of all, I don't have any control over that. And and second, he's not really making those matches. Anyway.
by the way.
But yeah, they drew like 50,000 people, and it wasn't even Delhi. It was like some smaller city. I mean, still huge in India, but yeah. I mean, there's a big crowd there. I mean, there's a big audience there. You just got to monetize it the right way and strategically go after that, sponsorships and advertisers, as opposed to merch and network subscriptions.
Well, TNA don't got that.
Nope. Dude, if TNA with that Rink of King, if they would have put, I forget if Khali was a free agent then, but if they would have put out the money for Khali, that probably could have changed the fortune of the whole project. He's that big of a deal there. I went in 2008, and he was visiting that summer that I went with my wife and my brother-in-law, my sister, and it was huge. All the news was covering Khali being out there and visiting, and all the biggest actors in India were trying to meet him, and the biggest sports stars. It was just a gigantic deal. Jinder is nothing like that over there. He's getting some media, but it's not a big deal. Whereas Khali is like Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair.
He's American born, right? Jinder?
Canadian,
yeah. Yeah, so that's the difference right there, right?
Well, plus I think the size of Khali, because I'm considered big in India, so
that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow night we'll see the fallout from Survivor Series on SmackDown, which is all I could find on the WWE Twitter. It's literally what it says. Tomorrow night, catch the fallout from Survivor Series on SmackDown.
Yeah, we'll see. I thought it was Jinder and AJ, so that'll be interesting.
People in the chat are saying they saw that tonight, but I'm telling you, I heard specifically they said we'll find out what's next for AJ Styles. So who knows?
Who said that?
Someone in the chat said that they had it during the commercial.
Well, who said that? No. Who said that? We'll find out what's next for AJ. I can't
remember if it was during a commercial or if it was like Michael Cole or they were teasing it. But I specifically heard that phrase.
Still doesn't mean they're not going to do Jinder.
Yeah, because Michael Cole probably legitimately doesn't know.
Yeah, what's next for AJ Styles? Oh, he's facing Jinder. That's what's next for AJ Styles.
Because that sounds like a TV guide ad. You know what I mean? When you're about to DVR or something.
That's what you're doing. He's looking at the DirecTV lineup.
Like I remember when I was working with Kurt, I remember saying like something along the lines of, it didn't even talk about our storyline. It just said, tonight's show starring Matt Morgan and like three other people, and it didn't say anything about our storyline, which it normally would.
Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
It's a broad stroke blanket thing.
What was interesting, I got the WWE Fan Council survey today about asking about Survivor Series, and the memorable moment they showed the results, and AJ versus Brock was the top voted memorable moment of Survivor Series.
Moment or match?
Not match. They were talking about AJ, the offense he unloaded on Brock.
Good.
They said that was the highlight of Survivor Series.
I mean, what else would you pick? Triple H,
definitely not that crap.
The whole thing.
It was slim pickings. I fill out those surveys, and I literally had forgotten last night as I was there doing. I'm trying to be like, what else even happened? I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. The ring performance was great, but in terms of major moments.
Right. I mean, this morning, usually after a WrestleMania Royal Rumble, there's a big surge in the morning that we see, like a big, where I'm having to constantly be monitoring the servers and make sure everything's okay. And today it was better than a B show, but not anywhere near the, Rumble or, of course, not WrestleMania, but not near SummerSlam or the Rumble. So, yeah. It was just kind of like once it was done, it was like, eh.
I'd be willing to bet Rumble's the second highest simply because who's going to be in the Rumble is a big deal, right? A big conversation, right?
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, basically, November and December. It's funny because advertising-wise, they're the biggest months because of Christmas and all that. But interest-wise, they're the slowest with football season, picking up, and then WWE doesn't really do too much right now, and then they really pick up in January. So, yeah.
We shall see tomorrow night. We'll be back here Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern, to talk about SmackDown Live, the fallout from Survivor Series, and whatever happens between AJ, Jinder, and who knows what else. We shall see.
All right.
Matt, what do you want to plug before we take it home here?
Nothing. I'm good.
That's good.
Pay your taxes in Longwood, right?
Yeah, seriously. Pick up your trash.
Yes.
Cool, man. And Raj, people stay tuned to the site. I'm sure there will be more stories coming out. The backstage.
Yeah, no, I have this stuff from my interview with Jack Swagger, who talked a lot about WWE revenues and how much his pay was affected when he lost his push and when he gets it back, and then the pay-per-view pay and network pay. So people have been asking about that. He talks about it, so check it out. It's up there today. Yeah, and then he talks about his Bellator debut, and we got more from my interview with Jack Swagger coming up. Got an interview with Gangrel, Terry Funk. So some cool stuff, and Tommy Dreamer's coming up soon. So yeah,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I'll let him know.
Cool, guys. Well, we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Until next time, folks. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. Try not to drop your pizza on the way out of Domino's, but if you do, hey, there's insurance for that. And we'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.